Welcome back to Goodnight, Lighthouse. I'm Miss Dorothy, and I'm here to read you another story. And because it's summertime, and we've been talking about vacations and the places we go, I got another book about going down to the sea. Yep, and this one we're going to visit an old friend of ours, because this is called Down to the Sea with Mr. Magee. Remember, we already went on a camping trip with Mr. Magee and his little dog Dee. Well, now it looks like we're going on a boat trip because we're going down to the sea. Now, a lot of times, Mr. Magee ends up getting into some trouble on his trips. We're going to have to find out if that happens on this trip down to the sea. Are you ready to get inside this Mr. Magee book with Miss Dorothy? Good. I need you to sit up and listen up, because here we go. Down to the Sea with Mr. Magee by Chris Van Dusen. Mr. Magee and his little dog Dee love spending time in their boat on the sea. So early one morning at 6:32, they made a decision. That's just what they do. Look, they've decided to go spend some time on their boat down on the sea. Right after breakfast, Magee packed a lunch, sandwiches, carrots, a thermos of punch, a big box of raisin, some sweet pickled beets, chocolate chip cookies, and crunchy dog treats. With plans for the day and enough lunch for 3, they hopped in the car and drove down to the sea. There they go, waving goodbye to everybody on the way. The pair left the dock at 7 o'clock and motored their way around Eagle Egg Rock. They passed by the lighthouse and by the old wreck, with Magee at the wheel and Dee on the deck. Wow, that looks like fun. They suddenly spied off the bow to the east a big pod of whales. There were 50 at least, splashing about in the bright morning sun, feasting on shrimp and sardines by the ton. But one little whale who had eaten his fill, munching on minnows and plankton and krill, was bored with his breakfast, and since he was through, he swam off in search of something to do. Look at all those whales. Wow. Now Dee and Magee in their boat on the bay didn't notice the whale that was headed their way. They were watching the other whales put on a show, and soon that young whale was directly below. From under the sea, the little whale spied Magee and Dee's boat, but not them inside. He longed for adventure. He wanted to play. So he bumped at the boat in the most friendly way. Then the whale placed his blowhorn directly below, and ever so gently, he started to blow. Oh, no. Magee saw the bubbles. He felt the boat sway. Then up went the boat on a fountain of spray. Higher and higher the little boat flew, as harder and harder the little whale blew. Then the whale blew a blast as hard as he could, much harder in fact than a little whale should. And that final blast blew the boat up in the sky, first 30, then 40, then 50 feet high. The boat kept on rising, but it didn't stop there. Wind hit it hard and it flew through the air. Dee and Magee sailed over the sea, when all of a sudden, what's going to happen? They got stuck in a tree. So there they were, stranded, Magee and his pup, in the top of a spruce, 60-some feet up. Wow! They are stuck on an island in a really high tree. From their perch in the sky, the two watched in dismay as the whale far below swam swiftly away. Magee was downhearted. Just what could he do? They seemed hopelessly stuck, but little Dee knew. The secret to get the boat safely unpinned was to rock back and forth and wait for the wind. So they rocked and they rocked for an hour or so, but the boat didn't budge because the wind didn't blow. Just when they thought they'd be stuck there all night, they spotted far off a spectacular sight. What did they see? Away in the distance across the blue bay, the whales, all 50, were headed their way. They swam through the water in a long straight row and gathered around the small island below. Magee looked down at the circle of whales surrounding the island and raising their tails. He felt a bit nervous, a little bit tense. when all of a sudden, it made perfect sense. "They're trying to save us," he shouted with glee. "Hold on, Dee! Hold on, as tight as can be." The whales came back. They're going to try and help. Their tails slapped down with thunderous crash, which in turn created a super high splash that covered the island and raced up the tree and dislodged the boat and set them both free. Dee was so happy she let out a yelp. Magee tipped his hat to the whales for their help. "Thank you, my friends, for saving the day." Then they all waved goodbye and the whales swam away. On the way home, little Dee had a thought. What about all the food they had brought? In all the excitement, they ate not a bite. So they saved it and had it for dinner that night. Wow! What an adventure! Mr. Magee and Dee went down to the sea, and the whale came along and blew them up in the air, and they were stuck in a tree, and they had so much trouble, but then the whales came back and rescued them, and what a big day they had. But in that big day, they forgot to eat their picnic. So they went home, and they had it someplace safe and dry, and it looks like they're having a very nice time at home after that big adventure down by the sea. Wow, that was a lot of fun. Mr. Magee had a good idea to go down by the sea, but he didn't expect that whale to come along. But it all worked out. It usually does. And I hope when you go on vacation this year, you have exciting vacations like Mr. Magee. Don't get stuck in a tree, okay? But if you see a whale, let Miss Dorothy know. That would be exciting. But for now, I need all my little whales to swim off to bed. I need you to get under your covers, get cuddled up, curled up, ready for a really good night's sleep. And tomorrow, whether you're going camping, or you're going hiking, or you're going to the playground, or you're going down to the sea, whatever you're going to do tomorrow, obey and obey right away. And then come back and see Miss Dorothy, because I'm going to be sitting right here, ready to read another book to you. Bye! Thanks for reading with Miss Dorothy. I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you'll come back soon to read another. What's your favorite book? Drop Miss Dorothy a note and let me know. I'll go find it, and I'll read it to you. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you soon.